I used to wake up at midnight even as a child because growing up in a rural area in the East Malaysia, we grew accustomed to going to morning markets. We call it tamu. It's one of those days that are set in certain towns on certain days, and people gather together to sell their goods such as vegetables, fruits, and so on. Growing up doing these things, I realized that some people sometimes they look down on us because we are just selling on the streets. The tamu is not at the building, it's on the road, which the local authority allowed to be occupied by morning sellers. I guess that's where that perspective comes from. But they don't see the waking up at midnight, the standing for long hours, and sometimes for a introvert like me, it's a really tough battle with social batteries. And then only at 3 p.m. or something, we get to come back because the drive home is 1 hour something from the nearest town to our village. Honestly, it's really tough. It's really tiring, and your back will hurt, your social battery, as for me that is. And a lot of the time dealing with customers, and customers aren't really friendly sometimes I think they think that they have authority over you, so the way they talk kind of sting sometimes. And I remember when I was a child, I kind of rebelled against that, which maybe hurt my parents selling, because I wasn't really friendly back then. And if someone was cold to me, I was also was cold towards them. But I realize people are just gonna be people. You just go on and smile and go on with your day. So growing up in this environment, I naturally, maybe it was my tendency that I wanted out. I wanted something more, how to say, socially acceptable, or like at least office jobs. I mean, that's what my parents hope for me too, because it's not easy to work as morning seller. It's a battle against weather and sleep schedule and all that. And I remember back in 2023, when I just finished my high school, I devoted my years to studying because I thought that solely on academic will give me another path. While it might have opened a path for me, I realized that after I finished my high school, I actually felt a hollow in my heart. Because imagine you spent your life studying, you bury your nose in your book, and then when all of that has ended, I felt empty. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and it was actually stressful because studying was my identity, academic was my identity, especially in the society that I am in. It's highly rewarded that you gain high marks. And while that was a clear benchmark while in school, then when I finished my high school, all of that was gone, and it was hard to find my path because I didn't know who I was without the books, without the grades, without the studying regime. When I go to the morning market helping my parents, some customers, they ask like, "Are you not going to further your study?" And back then, those words really hurts because I think my identity was so ingrained in academic that it hurt. Yeah, their words work like a charm. So I went to school. In 2024, I furthered my studies to West Malaysia, in Peninsula Malaysia, Selangor. And yeah, and once again, those benchmark came back, the validation of getting high marks and studying. You just have to study and get good marks and all. And it was comfortable until I finished my diploma. And the feeling that I got during high school, they came back to me. And this time it was more high pressuring because now I am entering adulthood. And I think there is this unspoken expectation for you to have to figure out by now your life and all. And yeah, it was stressful. Plus, the industry that I get into is not really prominent in my state because, I don't know, we are just not yet there, I guess. So, coming back to my state, I remember I didn't even get a cashier job. I think that was because, my social skills are so undeveloped that I didn't dare to do a walk-in interview. I never worked before in a company. It's really hard to get experience nowadays because entry jobs doesn't feel like entry jobs anymore. When you look at job postings on websites, or apps, they listed all of these 1 year, 2 years, 3 years experience in the entry position. So I'm like, how am I supposed to get that if I never work? So yeah, I came back again to selling at the morning market with my parents. And this time I realized that actually doing this for years, it really changed me, especially after I started to notice a little more on my daily life. And one of those things that I realized is that I became more okay being here, even though I don't have any positions, any jobs right now. I realized that morning market, you are exposed to a lot of people, a lot of kinds of people, and some people are nice, some people are kind of mean, some people kind of rude, but you learn to just give your service to them in the best way possible that you can give and just move on with your day. They get their grocery and you get your money. So coming back to the title, I tried my everything to leave this place, this state, the job, the midnight waking up at midnight job that I do with my parents. I have started to grow roots on the soil that I tried to leave. And today I felt okay being here. Honestly, looking at other perspective, having a house, having food, having enough food is really enough, and this, I don't think it's a bad life. I honestly started to notice the value in where I came from and where I live and all. The internet gets annoying sometimes, but yeah, it's alright. There's not really any reason. Am I settling? It might look like I am settling right now. I think some people look down on that kind of decision, but honestly, it's not a bad place to be. For me, you don't have to be somewhere extraordinary or be someone extraordinary to have a meaningful life, I think. And for me, that looks like right now, I really love my village, even though sometimes, there are flaws, but there aren't any place that are perfect, I think. I haven't traveled much, so I don't really know, but I think I love this place. I'm starting to love this place. So yeah, that's all for today. Bye. Thank you for watching.